So today I'll tell you certain untold tips for SSB interviews. Now I've been watching many videos, but unfortunately I find that these videos are being made by people who are not faced SSB interview themselves, but they're trying to teach about SSB interviews, and the direction and guidance is on a tangent. They are trying to make it more like a civilian interview, which is not the case. SSB has different requirements, and this interview actually I have this video I made based on my SSB interview experience, which I cleared in my second attempt. So let's see. First of all, understand why SSB. Why SSB has so different process. Because once you understand this, then you'll know that how to clear this interview. I'll give you a slight background that during World War II, large number of casualties took place because people were made officers, picked up just from here and there, and given responsibilities. So this resulted in large number of losses, loss of equipment, loss of men, loss of wars. The main reason was lack of correct decision making and poor leadership. So this system of SSB interviews was started, and it's actually a very scientific system, and this assesses candidate from many angles for his suitability as an officer. Because many times you'll find people saying that so and so, I mean his profile is not so good, but he is selected and I am not selected. Because when I went for interview, there was one national level hockey player. So when I was selected, he was very surprised. But then I got selected because of my written work and my speaking skills and speed. And he was under impression that since he's a national level player, so he'll get selected. So this may be true for bank and all, but not for army. So I'll give you certain practical hints. Firstly, army and SSB, they're not looking for a Superman or a hero number one. A normal person can clear SSB interview provided he has certain qualities. He is able to speaking and expressing himself. These are two key things for SSB interview besides doing well in written exams. SSB basically looking for leadership qualities, initiative, honesty, intelligence, social people, quick thinkers, fast moving, and last one, mentally sound and very strong candidates. So we'll see some of these qualities briefly, and all the SSB aspirants must develop these qualities. These qualities can be developed. Leadership qualities can be developed. Leaders actually they are of two types. One is natural leaders, and the second one are trained leaders. Like my example, I am a trained leader because first time I could not clear it because probably I did not have those qualities. But second time I took guidance, I improved myself, I inculcated many positive qualities in my personality, and I was through. So these qualities can be created. So I'll give you examples now. What are these qualities? Like leadership. Now, while you are at SSB interview, you can't be leader for 4 days. It has to be your habit. And this is what psychologists, GTOs, presidents, and written exams, and all these exposures during the PPDT and all, they are trying to assess you. Whether you are a natural leader or trying to be leader for 4 days. So like for example leadership, so while traveling you find somebody is standing, try to give him a helping hand and make this as a habit. Similarly, if there's an accident, so at least inform police. This is what will give you habit of taking initiative. Be honest, don't over project yourself in your actual life also. Because you must have noticed that if you are honest, then life is very easy. You don't have to justify things. But if you are not honest, then you have to fabricate many things, and some place or other you get detected. So this is what actually people do in SSB, that in their profile they'll write many things which they are not, and that is where they get caught in interview. Actually, it is not required also, because as I told you that SSB is not looking for some flamboyants or number one heroes. They are looking for normal people with leadership qualities. So don't write such things which you have not done. This is what I am trying to convey. We are all honest. I mean, nobody is dishonest. Then intelligence, you should be able to quickly understand and come to solution, and this will be very helpful in your written test. In written tests are not very difficult, but time is very less. If time is given, then probably everybody can complete 100% test and score 100% marks. So this is where the catch lies: speed. If you don't have speed, practice it. Like I told you, one is natural leadership and other one is made leadership. Practice it. Now you have to be very social and extrovert, because if you are social, then you'll have both initiative and leadership. But if you remain to yourself and keep quiet and generally remain in a corner, then nobody will in fact ask your suggestion or accept you as a leader. So if you're interacting and this thing, then obviously, I mean, you become an obvious leader. Quick thinkers, ability to think fast and act fast. This can also be developed by practice. You try to solve situations in your own time and try to work out solutions. So this will give you ability. If it is not there, I mean, you can develop it. Then mentally sound and strong. If you are happy, if you are smiling, if you are cheerful, so that is an indication of mental strength. But if you are not mentally strong, then try to be happy, keep smiling. So this will make you mentally strong. So it's both ways. So I hope you all are getting what I'm trying to say. So we'll now see certain tips. So in part 1, we'll cover how should you behave with other candidates when you are not in interview. Off time, in your rest area, you are in barracks, dormitories. So first of all, be friendly with all the candidates. They may be from different regions and states. So don't try to stick to your regional crowd and form groups. If you are from Rajasthan, so don't make a group of Rajasthanis there. Try to mix up well with all other candidates. This will be very helpful when it comes to outdoors or when it comes to discussions. Because if you make unfriendly posture during off time, then it will be very difficult for you to participate during many discussions and activities, outdoor activities. Then praise others for their performance. I mean, don't criticize them. Ever criticize anyone. Be friendly and respect others. Similarly, there are going to be many SSB staff around you. So listen to them carefully and respect them. They may be junior in their rank and service, but then you need to be respectful, because they may be watching you. If you have aggressive behavior or you are abusive or you are complaining too much, then they might give a word to the seniors and this might go against you. Certain don'ts. SSB food is very simple, so don't expect hotel like food and start complaining. Then don't try to find out backdoor entries. Backdoor means, is there a way that I can get through by some recommendations, etc. Because once this gets into your dossier, then you can never be selected. Don't ask these SSB staff that do you know anyone, how can I be selected? Never. Then don't create enemies, as I told you. Among fellow candidates, be friendly, because when I went first time, so I had little tiff with some candidates, and so then this resulted in not a very good thing during the later stages, because there are many tests which require teamwork, and if you are friendly, then either you are team members or they will pick you as leader, and there are many repercussions of this. So be friendly with candidates. This is very important. If you do this, your 50% work is done, and besides this, if you speak well, another 25% work is done. So remember this. Now during off time, you should be dressed up well, haircut, you must shave, carry a few good books, speak about some good movies and positive news, and don't roam around nakedly or this thing. Follow a proper dress code, and you should be visibly gentleman. See this slide. Extroverts are leaders. In the lot of these six people, three are visibly leaders and three are just silent. So try to be a leader. Be extrovert. Keep speaking. Keep participating. Now let's see certain tips during interview. Now you are assessed by many people, as I told you. Some are psychologists, some are GTOs, some are presidents, some are SSB staff and this thing. So be natural, and don't ever think that now you are not in interview so you can do whatever you feel like. So be very, very natural and honest, and try to create a good impression on others. Don't be introvert. You'll find many occasions like PPDT, the first day screening test. So you need to speak. There are many people, they say that I have written a very good story and my idea was generally accepted, but I am not selected. So I asked them that why. I asked them that did you participated in discussion? So he said that once or twice I spoke. Now in a lot of 40 people where they are discussing a thing for good about say 30 minutes, you need to speak at least 7 to 8 minutes, and you need to speak at least 6 to 7 times. So speaking is a must. Nobody is looking at your plan. Plans are same, 70-80% they are all same. There's only that last few things are different. But how you present the plan, how you speak, how you cooperate with others, how you help others in making their plans is what matters. And all these things are possible only if you are extrovert. If you introvert and keep your thoughts within yourself, then you're gone. If you remain quiet, you are out. There's the funda. Next, think and write fast. As I told you before that in written exam you get far too many questions and you are always short of time. So practice these things in your own time with a watch. Then general awareness, current affairs and general knowledge of armed forces of India. Now when I say current affairs and GK, so again like at the best read newspaper and see TV and read some good books. When I say books, that doesn't mean that you start reading a thesis type of book. Don't waste too much time, because you need to be good at many other things, and everywhere your effort should be same. So I'm not saying that you don't study these things, but you study them but in a balanced way. Okay. So in current affairs, generally they ask questions during your interview, and then also this current affairs knowledge is needed for group discussions and lecturates. So very, very basic knowledge is needed. And similarly, you need to have knowledge about armed forces of India, because invariably they ask that what do you think you will be doing in army or air force or navy, wherever you've opted for. So you should generally be knowing some details what the forces do actually. Then sometimes for borderline cases there are technical questions. There are some people, they are very bright, they have done very well in their written work, but they are not able to speak. So in president's interview, because by now he knows you all, that who is what, so he'll keep such questions for those borderline cases ready. If you have a science background, 12th student, he'll ask you what is Bernoulli's equation, so they should not surprise you. Similarly, if you are from engineering stream, so he might ask you something about your stream. He may not be knowing, but since the question was framed and given to him with some answer, so he'll ask you. So be prepared. In your background details, you're writing about your state and the place where you've been living. So you should know tourist places, railway stations, airports, major institutions, major government organizations, industries, what your place is famous for, and you should be able to explain about your place very well. Now let's see certain practical hints about the interview. As you all know that interview is conducted over 4 days, and first day is screening day, and those who qualify first day, they are sent for second, third and 4 days test series. So let's see the tips. Day wise, OIR test, verbal, non-verbal, speed and accuracy. Try to get 95% marks. As told you, questions are very simple but time is very less. So practice and practice and practice. PPDT, first day screening discussion test over a story. You all must be knowing that how it is conducted, otherwise I'll make a video on this also. So you should remember your story and you should listen to others' story, because there are 40 candidates giving out their stories, and you should be able to speak or say something about their story. And this discussion, you should speak at least for 5 to 6 minutes. The discussion is for about 30 minutes, and so for some time you will be giving your stories. Sometimes people will be commenting on your stories, so you are replying, and number of times you should be commenting on others' stories in a positive way and creating some discussion, and try to present the final plan. Then PIQ is also filled up on first day. It's a form basically with the background and this, that and all, but then people take this form very casually. Your interview is actually conducted based on this questionnaire. So whatever you are writing, you should know. For example, if you are you having a relative in army, this is one of the PIQ question. You say yes. So you should know the details and where all he has been, what does he do and all. Similarly, in last 3 columns, they ask you your games, extracurricular activities and all. So whatever you're writing, you should be thoroughly knowing about it. He'll ask you indirect questions, the president of interview board. So take this form very seriously, and you can practice this form because it's available on the net, and you can practice writing this form. Those who qualify on day 1, they go to second day test, and second day mostly psychologist tests are conducted, TAT, SRT, WAT. Now all these tests, though very simple, but they need 2 things. One is speed, other one is positive thinking. And same day, one small test is conducted, self-description test. And now this is also very important. And what you are writing here must correlate with PIQ, because this also forms basis for your interview. So this SDT, please remember properly and practice it. Third and fourth day, the key word is don't be introvert, because here onwards GTO's task will start, outdoor activities. So first one is that is the group planning exercise, then second one is lecturate, third one is group discussion. So in GP you should be able to speak, present your plan, listen to others plan, try to present final plan, try to justify your plan, try to modify others' plan, speaking. Lecturate is basically a test to assess your public speaking skills on a topic which is not known to you. They'll give you topic just 3 minutes before. So even if you don't know much about the topic, but if you are good at speaking, you can do lecturates very well. Similarly, group discussions. Now don't wait for your chance. And it is not possible to have knowledge of all the possible subjects. So suppose that you are not able to speak or you don't have much knowledge about the subject, listen to others carefully and then give your views. But then speaking and participation, these are the key things for your selection. Individual obstacles, there are basically 10 obstacles which candidates are required to complete, and this anyone with normal sporting activity can do it. So don't worry too much about these things, because many candidates, they waste too much time in practicing these obstacles and all. Like in my case, I was giving very more emphasis to the obstacles than rest of the things. So these can be completed, and the weightage is also just about 5 to 10%. But what you need to practice more is your written exams and GTO stars. Then third and fourth day, obstacle tests are conducted. There are many types of tests: PGT, HGT, command task, and snake race. Now all these 4 tests, they have one thing in common: a problem is presented, and candidates are asked to cross the obstacle with a solution. And sometimes groups are divided into 2 lots and they are required to compete with each other. Now important here is that how you are participating, how you are contributing, how you are giving your ideas, how active you are. I mean, don't remain in a corner. And if you are not made a leader, your team member, then also you should try to speak. And if you are a leader, then you should actively accept suggestions from other members. And if you are not in agreement, then you should be able to discuss with them and say that no, I don't accept this because of this reason. So here you need to be extrovert, and yes, you have to cross obstacles, but they are looking for your intelligent plans and your quick thinking. But then these things are possible and visible only when you speak. If you keep quiet, you may be having a wonderful plan, but nobody will know. So this is how you need to perform while doing the third and fourth day task. Now, president's interview, these are conducted from second and third day onwards, and you got to speak. Prepare well, know your PIQ form and SDT, and the tips I have given you, your state and all. And he'll ask you questions. So some questions are just introduction nature. It's called ice-breaking questions. Then some are stress questions, and some are very cool type questions. So in stress questions, he'll go threadbare on your hobbies and your achievements and all. In introduction questions, he'll ask you mother, parents, and all. Your about questions about place where you belong to. So don't bluff. Wherever you don't know, say, ki, sir, I don't know much about this, but I feel. This is how you should say. I feel, or this is my knowledge about this. So then final conference. Now this conference is conducted when all the tests are over and results are about to be declared. And many candidates, they leave this conference. Okay, now it's only a formality, but this conference is important for borderline cases. Listen to me carefully, borderline cases. If you've been a borderline case and they ask you something in conference, then you got to answer. So they generally ask you, okay, any suggestion? So give a suggestion. Then they might ask you, any like how would you like to improve yourself in future? This was a question asked to me during conference in second attempt. First attempt I said thank you, I have no suggestions. But second attempt, whatever they asked, I spoke, I gave something. So this is very important. and you should be very, very careful while handling this situation. So finally, once again, SSB is looking for people with leadership qualities to have lesser war losses. It's not a corporate interview. It has been devised through a scientific process, and I explained to you the importance is speed, accuracy, and your speaking skills. So don't be too centric about body language and the intelligent way of putting a plank or putting claw knots and all those things. So hope I made clear myself about the SSB tips. So thank you very much and wish you all good luck.